Hi, everybody. My name is Ernestine. I'm going to talk to you today about the danger of using images in worship. I have selected a couple of passages that I'm going to read. The first one is Exodus 20, verse 4 to 5. Do not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or on earth below or in the water under the earth. Do not bow down to them. Do not let anyone make you serve them. Do not bow down to them. Do not let anyone make you serve them. For I, Adonai your God, I am a jealous God, bringing the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. In other words, God is saying here that do not make for yourself a graven image that look like the moon, the sun, the stars, that look like people, whether men or women, that look like birds, insects, that look like fish, any kind of thing that God created. Don't do it. God sees idol worship as a sin, like any other sin. That's why he is reminding us in verse 5 that he is a jealous God. He punishes the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. And he also interpreted it as an act of hatred toward him. Why? Because the Bible says that we make ourselves enemy of God when we sin. When we sin, our sin distance us from God. We become his enemy when we sin. And I know some people may say that that is the law. We don't abide by the law. That is the Old Testament. No, this requirement is also found in the New Testament. The next one I'm going to read, I selected it from the New Testament, Romans 1:22 to 23. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like a mortal human being and birds and animals and reptiles. So the use of images obscure the glory of God. He said they exchanged the glory of the immortal God to look like a sinful human being. So that's something that God is so much displeased with. Another one is 1 John 5, verse 8. Dear children, keep yourself from idol. Just as simple as that. Simple requirement. Dear children, keep yourself from idol. The next passage is Deuteronomy 4, verse 15 to 19. It says, you saw no form of any kind the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb out of the fire. Therefore, watch yourself very carefully so that you do not become corrupt and make for yourself an idol, an image of any shape, whether formed like a man or a woman or like any other animal on earth or any bird that flies in the air, or like any creature that moves along the ground or any fish in the water below. And when you look up to the sky and see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the heavenly array, do not be enticed into bowing down to them and worshiping the thing the Lord your God has apportioned to all the nations on the heaven. So it's just a repetition of what I already read in Exodus 20. Just the same thing. Do not make a graven image and worship that looks like a man, woman, that looks like an animal. Do not worship the sun, the moon, the stars. And God is saying that it's because your heart is corrupted. You do it because your heart is corrupted. It's on verse 19. Therefore, watch yourself very carefully so that you do not become corrupt and make for yourself an adult, an image of any shape, whether form like a man, like a woman, like animals like bird that flies in the air. So this is a passage that Moses gave to the Israelites after they camped at Mount Sinai. When they were camping at Mount Sinai, God spoke to them, and they didn't see any shape, they didn't see any form. So at this point in their journey to the promised land, Moses is reminding them that when God spoke to you at Mount Sinai, you didn't see any shape, you didn't see any form. Therefore, do not let your heart be corrupted. Do not let your heart be corrupted to the point where you're going to replace the glory of God to look like an image, to carve an image looking like a mortal human being. The truth about the use of images in worship is that it dishonors God, it belittles God, it obscures the glory of God. Look at it this way. The wooden Jesus that you have in your home is so little, so small to fit in your pocket, to fit in your purses. When you travel, you lock it up in the trunk. You give yourself comfortable seats in the plane and let it locked up in your suitcase, let it travel in the baggage area. That's how you belittle your God. Something that you call God, you are not supposed to treat him like that. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how God is so holy that we shouldn't approach him in an unworthy manner. Another passage is Jeremiah 2:27. They say to wood, you are my father, and to stone you gave me birth. They have turned their backs to me and not their faces. So this is what I said earlier, that when we sin, God sees it as any other sin. When you carve an image and call it God, and instead of worship the creator the way he commanded you to do, you instead bow down to an image, a wooden thing, an iron thing. God is saying that when you do that, you turn your back to me and not your faces. I want your face, not your back. Don't distance yourself from me. By doing so, you are distancing yourself from me. You are walking away from me. Do not do it. Another passage is Isaiah 57, verse 8 and verse 13. Behind your doors and your doorpost, you put your pagan symbols. The 13 says, when you cry out for help, let your collection of idols save you. The wind will carry them off, all of them off, a mere breath will blow them away. So when you bow down before an image to worship, God's saying here that I'm not listening to you. Let that wooden thing hear your prayer. Let that wooden thing hear your prayer. And when he says the wind will carry them off, a mere breath will blow them away. Look at it this way. If a tornado pass by and blow off your house, if you have your wooden Jesus hang on the wall, or you have make a place at the corner of the house where it is sitting there, will the wind spare your wooden Jesus? No, it's going to take everything off, because it's just an object like any other object. It's not going to spare you. It's not going to spare that wooden Jesus. It's going to take everything away. That's why God is saying here that the wind will carry them off and a mere breath will blow them away. So this is God speaking to you today. And think about it. Next time you are bowing down before your wooden Jesus, think about it. God is speaking to you today. If you look at another situation where you go hiking and you accidentally, or you go somewhere and with your wooden Jesus, carrying your wooden Jesus with you, and you accidentally dropped it, will that wooden Jesus ask you or call your attention to that it has been dropped? No, 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 because it doesn't have mouth to speak to you. He doesn't have eyes to see you. He doesn't have ears to listen to your prayer. In this book, I have collected other passages in the Bible that talks about adult and worship. These few passages that I've read are just a few. I have taken the time to go through the Bible and wrote down all those passages. Chapter 7 in this book is attributed to that. All the rest of the passages that talk about adult and worship, just look how thick it is. This is God repeating himself over and over because he doesn't want you to belittle him. He wants you to revere him as he should, as you should. He wants you to worship him his way, not your way. You are belittling him. You are obscuring his glory when you use an image that looks like a mortal human being. God is not flesh and blood. God is immortal. God is not flesh and blood. God is immortal. This book is sold on Amazon. It looks upside down. I think it's because I'm using the camera on my phone. It's sold on Amazon. Adult Worship in Christianity, the Corruption of Faith by Pagan Practices. Yeah, pagan practices are still found deep anchor in our worship to this present time, and I have denounced it. I have highlighted it. Get the copy of this book. Powerful revelation in this book is going to speak to your soul. Thank you for watching. God bless you all, and shalom.